Hi, and welcome to episode 75 of Let's Talk Immigration. 75 episodes. That's wonderful. Yay. I need a chocolate cake. Okay, the first thing I want to talk about today is I am often encouraging um, people that are having problems with the immigration process to reach out to their congressional constituent services person. What that means is like the member of Congress that serves you or the two US senators that serve you, they have a person that works for the government whose job is to check up on applications. It's good to use these people. Not so much, it usually doesn't help the individual application. Sometimes it does. But for the most part, it lets the member of Congress know where the problems are and how our government works. So it is important and it's free. Free is good. Okay. So after you do that, the reflex response that USCIS or the State Department gives to the constituent services person, they're going to forward to you, and it's going to sound like a lot like the same response that you got when you did your inquiry. But this is the point that gets exciting. You have in the email a little button that says reply. You reply and ask follow-up questions on what is causing the backlog and what the government's priorities are. And let me give you an example of what happens when you do that, okay? In North Carolina, we have a client who, actually, I'm not sure if he's my client. He just sent me this in Telegram, and I was very excited to see it. Okay. Who sent an inquiry to, okay. But I'll go on. I hope this email finds you well. I'm writing to inform you that we have received a response from the U.S. Department of State regarding the concerns you raised regarding administrative processing backlog and national security vetting procedures. Please see the following. There's a typo there. See, we're all human. We all make mistakes. Allocation of analyst. Okay. It says the State Department explained that only 37 analysts for national security vetting responsibilities is dynamic and subject to adjustment based on workflow and interagency partnerships. What's interesting, though, is I have a declaration from January that says it's 37. I have a declaration from April 7th that says it's 37. So in 3 months, it stayed 37. So I don't know if it's dynamic, right? Okay, they emphasize their commitment to leveraging technology for automated reviews and limiting manual processing to safeguard national security while facilitating legitimate travel. And here's measures being taken and challenges faced. The measures being taken, it says several measures to address the backlog and expedite the vetting include regular engagement with interagency visa vetting partners to streamline reviews, identify cases for conclusion, and implement policies that enhance border security efficiency. They also mentioned in the transition to the National Vetting Center, NVC, which is different than the National Visa Center, NVC, that the State Department has. Crazy. They mention here something about it is important to note that the State Department acknowledged the significance of the backlog and assured us of their commitment to addressing it through a multifaceted approach. I found that word interesting, multifaceted approach. So if you are in North Carolina and you have an opportunity to vote for Congressman Jeff Jackson or support him, I recommend you do, because he's this Congress office is one of the few that have been able to claw information from the State Department so that we could share it publicly and understand better how the backlog works. But it's also an important reminder that you have an opportunity with a constituent services person interchange to ask follow-up questions. The State Department will answer questions to a member of Congress that they will not answer that you or I ask, right? Because Congress funds them. That's where they get their money. Okay. So I see we already have a lot of questions coming in, which is great. Let me go ahead and preempt some of these questions. DV 2020, DV 2021, we are still waiting on the outcome of the appeal. There is a activity going on behind the scenes. Gomez Class Counsel has proposed a motion that we file with the Circuit Court of Appeals that ask the Circuit Court of Appeals to look at giving an order sooner rather than later. I've reviewed that motion and the exhibit that's attached to it. I've shared with our clients an idea I had, which is to let class counsel know of the most compelling situations that the Gomez class members face. What I mean is danger, right? So like if you're in Gaza, you're probably not watching this because you probably don't have internet right now, but if you're in Gaza or Congo or Ukraine or just someplace where you are facing a lot of danger and hardship, Yemen, email Gomez Class Counsel. Let them know about that. They cannot share your story with the court if they do not know your story. Don't hide it from them. Now, if you have normal, average, which is awful, hardship related to the being in limbo and not knowing what's going to happen with your future, that's not what we're looking for. They've already got that covered in the declaration. What we need is examples of like intense hardship. You're being chased by the Taliban. Let us know. Okay. I expect that's going to be filed in the next couple of days. Okay. I've already given some of my edits. I was waiting for Raphael to weigh in on one of my things. I'm not sure if he has yet. I'm behind an email. Charles Cuck is preparing a section on behalf of Go plaintiffs. I'm not sure if that's done yet. So things are happening with that. Okay, so let me switch to questions now. I'm thinking there is one more thing I want to share, actually. If you've not heard of something called track reports, what that is a nonprofit at a college, and what they do is, I think Syracuse College, they track data in the immigration space. And Austin Kocher, I'm not sure how to say his name, is the person that's over there that does this. And they just released a report that talks about, let me see if I can pull it up. In the last 6 months, about 500,000 immigrants were deported by ICE. What's interesting is where they were deported from. 500,000 immigrants deported by ICE or border. I don't know if I'd use the word immigrants. This does not include 137,000 immigrants ordered deported in increasing numbers by immigration judges. And so what this report talks about is where they were removed from. The largest number of removal orders, under 11,000, were issued to immigrants residing in New York City. The next largest group, 8,000 removal orders, were in Harris County, Texas, where Houston is, and then Los Angeles, 6,000. Okay, and then it looks like Dallas and Miami came up there next. So there are some places in the U.S. where more people are more. Oh, I guess that's why I used immigrants. It's difficult to know the exact word. More humans are ordered to leave the United States in certain places. So I thought that was a neat report that I wanted to share with everybody, because Republicans get on the TV and say, oh, they're just letting everybody in and da-da-da-da. Well, they don't tell the other side of this, that Biden is deporting people faster than any president in history. Okay, I'm going to share this link over there in case anybody's asking for it. It's showing up on probably Facebook and YouTube. Now I've shared it. Okay, let's do some questions. Zoomer has an 86-year-old family friend who's lived in New York since 2009 from Iran. They seen their married daughter, 53, and unmarried son who remained in. They've not seen. Okay. It's continued. His son and daughter applied for tourist visas twice. Both were denied at the Ankara office in Turkey. Okay. Can you please help them? What can they do? Well, I don't know if your family friend is a U.S. citizen or a green card holder. If he's a U.S. citizen, he can petition for his married child and her family, his family. However, oh no, daughter, so her family. However, that process would probably take 15 or 20 years. So that might not be as practical. If his daughter and her family want to visit the U.S., their only option to lawfully do that is to file what they did before, a B1, B2 visa application, a DS-160, but do it again. There's no limit, and it's not that expensive. And also, you don't have to use the same embassy. You could go to a different embassy. It is not uncommon for one consular officer to refuse a non-immigrant visa application because of they say, oh, no, you're going to overstay the visa. And then the next one says, no, I trust them. They're going to come back. So it's okay to try again. If you try again, though, just remember to try to do a better job of stressing your ties. Maybe create some ties to your outside the United States. They don't have to be to your home country, but they have to be outside the United States. The consular officer has to believe, it has to be true, that you are going to leave the United States before your status expires, your visitor visa. Okay. Ivan says, applied for a reentry permit last week. Okay. Did not get the receipt yet. Okay. I need to go overseas for 5 days. Is there a problem with this? I'm a green card holder. Yes, Ivan, there's a problem with this. I mean, there's not a problem. You can go, but you just have to file a new I-131 when you get back, because you will cancel that I-131 if you leave the U.S. and then come back. That's the way I understand it. If I'm wrong, somebody tell me. But what I would do is wait until you get the receipt notice, go get your biometrics, and then leave the U.S. That's my recommendation. But I commend you for applying for a reentry permit. I am spending a lot of time trying to convince green card holders who plan extended visits outside the U.S. to apply for a reentry permit. And usually they are not convinced and call me after they've got problems later. And that's frustrating. So thank you for applying for a reentry permit, even if in this case it doesn't work out. Zagaloo says, hey, sir, any news about DB 2021? Good luck. Yeah, I talked about that at the beginning, probably before, at the same time you made the question, waiting on the outcome of the appeal. Okay. Lunas says, hi. Hi, Lunas. Adam says DB 2021, which is not a question. Lunas says, when you think that Gomez filed this appeal? Gomez class is not going to file this appeal until we have an opportunity to insert our section, and Charles Cuck has an opportunity to insert his check section, and we have not done that yet. So it will not be right now. I expect it'll be in the next couple of days. This is that link I shared. If you want to know a little bit more about like where immigrants have been deported from the U.S. recently, it's not a beautiful life for people that are in the U.S. undocumented. Okay, it's glamorized on TV, but no. Okay, I see a lot of people just type in DB21, DB 2020. I'm not sure why you're doing that. I'm here to answer questions. It's not a question. Also, DV 2021, the majority of your journeys are over. The only DV 2021s I want to talk to, the only ones who have a future are good luck plaintiffs, gold plaintiffs, or people who were waiting on interviews from Schengen area countries and Brazil and China who could benefit from the Ray versus Biden order. Not all DV 2021. When you go around typing DV 2021, you give false hope to people outside that category that think that maybe someday they might have an opportunity with their DV 2021, and they do not. Okay, the majority of DV 2021 selectee journeys ended on October 1st, 2021. If you're fortunate enough that your journey continues, don't come in here and just type DV 2021. Type good luck, type Ray, type go, right? Okay, but also form a question. I want to know what is it you're asking. Okay, thank you. I hope they reuse my biometrics. I'm not an expert about that. I'm not sure if they'll do that or not. Linda says, I mean the motion. Got it. And I've already talked about that. Adam G's. All right. Cool. Zimmer says, elderly Iranian parents are U.S. citizens now. Okay. Will congressmen or something like that help or not in this case? They just want to come to the U.S. to visit. Usually members of Congress don't get involved for that, right? Because I kind of look at it like this. If it's just a visit, why can't they just do the visit in a third country? It's not something where it's not the same as an immigrant visa, okay? They're just looking on where to spend their vacation kind of thing. So I don't think a member of Congress's office will intervene with that. You could try, but I don't think so. I think that their best bet is just to apply again and probably use a different embassy. Iranians have 3 embassies in the region right there, right? Yerevan, Abu Dhabi, and Ankara. If they use one before, use a different one the next time. Some Iranians go to Cyprus. Jim says, hi, sir, have a nice day. Okay, I will. Thank you. I sounded grumpy earlier. I'm not grumpy. I'm just very, very busy, and it's stressing me out. Okay, that's all the questions I see that we have today, but we're only 20 minutes into the show. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share the invite link over here. If somebody wants to join and ask their question orally, let's give you all a couple minutes to see if anybody wants to do that. So that link is shared on YouTube and Facebook right now. Okay, Lena says, I say it orally, I meant like on video. So first you'll come backstage and then I'll add you in. Okay, Lena says, after Gomez filed motion, lawyer of the government, then with the answer opposition for the motion in the Court of Appeals. Yes, the government will definitely oppose our motion. They're not going to just let us go to the court and ask for what we want without them having an opinion on it. So we can expect after we file something with the Circuit Court of Appeals that the government will come in and file a response in opposition. Yes, that will happen. Jim says, I've been in the AP process since 2020. I want to ask. Okay. I need more information, Jim. I want to know your visa category. I want to know if you got a DS-5535. And then also I want to know what your question is. So what do you want to ask? Keep going. I'm looking for a different question here. So while we're waiting for Jim to finish his question or someone else to join, I just want to remind everybody about the tip that when you're immigrating to the U.S., the mailbox where you expect to receive your green card and Social Security card, you need to take a piece of paper and write your name on it and tape that piece of paper on your mailbox. I am overwhelmed right now with messages and emails from people that say, I didn't get my green card. Well, guess what? If the mailman doesn't know that you live at that house, they won't put that green card in that box. They'll send it back to USCIS, and then you have to pay a fee and do a 1-year process to get your green card. Don't do that. Follow my tip. Lumi says DV 2020, please. Okay, Lumi, it's not a question. I need some questions. Okay, Zoomer, they already filed green card sponsorship for unmarried son in 2018. Is there any way they can accelerate if his case is not current? They have not seen their kids for 20 years. Zoomer, you said, okay, unmarried son, 45. Okay. Right, 2018 was not that long ago, right? That was 6 years ago. And those petitions, that's an F2B petition, maybe take 10 years, but actually a little bit longer right now because they're not issuing family preference category visas like they should. People should be asking their members of Congress why that is. Congress allotted 226,000 family preference category visas to the State Department to issue every year, and Blinken is choosing not to do that, and nobody's asking him why. We have a lawsuit. I have a hearing in LA on Monday about that, so wish me luck. I never answered your question though. Sorry. Yeah, the tourist visas, now that you've given me that context, that's why the tourist visas were denied. They are intending immigrants. If you intend to immigrate to the U.S., it is very, very difficult to be issued a non-immigrant visa. It happens in extremely rare cases. I've heard of it happening twice. One of those times I heard was just recently. Both times the applicant was successful, and it appeared that, like, why would they live in the U.S.? Because they had a good situation where they were at. So, okay, I've got a lot of questions popping up here. Hassan says, hi, sir. Let's say we need to go to a rehearing our Supreme Court. Oh, gosh, hold on. It will be better asking for rehearing because there are more liberal judges than in Supreme Court. When you say a rehearing, you're talking about what's called en-banc, E-N-B-A-N-C-K, B-A-N-C, okay, where the entire circuit votes. And I'm actually not an expert on the Circuit Court of Appeals for DC's liberal versus progressive leaning, but also I've recently noticed conservative judges, even Trump appointed judges, are not always don't make assumptions about them. Okay, let's say it like that. There was a passport rule for the diversity visas that was ruled unlawful, not by a Biden appointed judge, but by a Trump appointed judge. Okay. I won a victory in a group lawsuit where the government's motion to dismiss was denied in a case called Taharian versus Blinken. That's just happened in January in the Central District of California, and that was a Trump appointed judge. So sometimes the president that appointed a judge doesn't mean that, that judge is a certain way or is going to do a certain thing. Okay. Luna says, so the Court of Appeals automatically will take the decision or will wait years to answer both. I'm having to guess context here. Take the decision. Are you talking about the decision based on the motion that Gomez is about to file? If you're suggesting that a federal judge has a deadline to issue an order, the answer is no. Okay. I think that answers your question. We don't know how long it will take for a federal judge to issue an order ever in any context, including the forthcoming Gomez motion. Freedom says, regarding 2020 selectees from Iran of that Gomez class, what should they do? Well, they should follow my instructions. Okay. My instructions were pretty clear a couple days ago, and that was if you're in danger and you have compelling harm that you face, then you should let the class council know. I mean, at this point, it's maybe too late, but like today. Okay. Jim says, DS260, I won DV 2020 lottery in the Gomez class. Okay. Because of Trump travel ban, presidential proclamation, I've been denied. I'm currently into getting through the Mexico border to U.S. Do you think? If you do that, if you present yourself at the southern border to seek asylum into the U.S., don't talk about DV anymore because your DV journey is probably over. Would be extremely difficult for your DV journey to continue if you enter the U.S. while seeking asylum at the southern border. That's just there are multiple obstacles in front of that. The main being, we're trying to get you a visa. A visa is what you use to travel to the U.S. You're doing something else. Okay. If we got you a visa, if you had a visa at an embassy, that's not going to help you if you're already in the U.S., especially when you leave the U.S., you sabotage your asylum process. So if Gomez class members or DV 2021 clients decide that they're seeking entry on the southern border, I know it's happening a lot, that basically ends your DV journey, your lawful journey, and puts you in a journey that has a lot more risk and will potentially take a lot longer. And in some situations, it puts you in danger. I mean, it's not always easy to go to present yourself at the border in Mexico. Use a lawyer. If you, I'm not sure by your question if you had already entered the U.S., but if you've already entered the U.S. from Mexico, yes, you need a lawyer because otherwise they're going to if you visit that link I showed you, Track Immigration has reports that show people how people that are not represented by a lawyer in their asylum proceedings are much more likely to not have success and later be removed. So if you're seeking to asylum to the U.S., you need a lawyer. Not so much before you enter the U.S. though. Like, what's the lawyer going to do? You can't file for asylum outside the U.S. Okay, Claude says, that's in French, Claude. I'm speaking English, and my French is not great. I don't understand the English. Oh, I think you're asking for me to have a live in French, which would be better if I did with a translator, because je parle français très mal, I think. So, it's been a long time. I don't know. Je ne sais pas français bien. Okay. Ashraf says, we're disappointed, sir. Who's we? Do you think there will be hope for DV 2020 winners to complete their process and get the visa? That is my hope. Okay. I don't think because I don't know, and I don't speculate about things I don't know because there's no benefit of that. Hassan, in his question before, he was talking about in-bank, and I don't know if on-bank would be better than the Supreme Court or not in that context. Zoomer says, thank you for answering. You're welcome. I'm sorry it wasn't probably what you wanted to hear. Jim says, I filed the DS-350. Never heard of a DS-350. Ivan says, if I later choose to surrender my green card, can I then travel to the U.S. on ESTA as a Dutch citizen? To visit? Yeah. I don't see why not. It's an interesting question. But that's just a visit. You won't be a resident in the U.S. Okay, Freedom says, regarding 2020 selectees from Iran, what exactly should we do with regard to Gomez Council? Okay. As I shared before, if you are facing danger or you have a compelling story, which is not everyone in Iran. Some people in Iran, their life is fine. If you're a female or you're gay or you're a minority, maybe you face some extreme hardship. In that case, you would want to email Gomez Class Council and let them know about it. So not all 2020 selectees from Iran need to email Gomez Class Council. But if you have some extraordinary hardship, you participated in the the Women Freedom protest, and now you have an upcoming court date where you could be imprisoned, well, that would be a good reason to email Gomez Class Council, right? So the facts matter. If you have facts that are compelling danger or hardship that you face, that's who I want to talk to Gomez Class Council. If you have something that's like not a big hardship, but it is to you, but like relatively it's not, let's not fill the Gomez Class Council's mailbox with that, because that will bury the stuff that they need to get you what you want. And you don't want to do that. We just want the most compelling stories. Okay, there are Gomez Class members that have family members that have died from war and famine and like COVID. They've been murdered. Like lots of bad stories. I have these stories. What I'm saying is stop sharing these stories with me at this moment and start sharing them with the Gomez Class Council, because that's who needs them at this moment. Zoomer says, the last question, their married daughter has not applied to immigrant visa. She has a husband, kids in Iran. Maybe she should apply tourist visa without her brother. Will she have a better, I think that we didn't get the last part of the question, but will she have a better chance than her brother? If she wants to visit the United States and she does not have an immigrant visa application, her brother does, yeah, she'd have a better chance than her brother. But what would really help is if her kids and her husband didn't apply, or at least her husband didn't apply, because that way she would have those ties back in Iran, because of course she's not going to leave her family, right? I'm not a consular officer, but I have seen people do that before and had better chance. Okay, Jim says, continue from previous. Should I wait the Gomez Class Council to be finalized? Your previous was DS350, and I don't know. Oh, no, you're the guy that's the southern border. If you're facing persecution where you're in danger, seek asylum. That's fine. If you're not, wait for the Gomez case to be finalized. Okay? I hope that clears that up. I don't want anybody seeking asylum at the southern border if they're not fleeing persecution, because entering the U.S. only to be treated as a second-class citizen and later face removal is not really going to be what you think it is. It's just going to uproot your life for a temporary situation. Okay. Can you post Gomez Class Council email? I'm going to do that. But I need everybody to understand the context of that, okay? If you email them right now with something other than what they're looking for, you're actually going to cause a problem. And I don't want you to do that. So you need to be in a conflict zone or facing some extraordinary hardship or danger, because those are the stories they're looking for. So I'm going to paste that right now on YouTube and Facebook in the comments section. And oh, I can maybe make it a banner. My team is behind the scenes going, no, you can't. You don't know how to do that. And they're right. This is the Gomez Class Council email. Now is not a good time to ask them for an update. Don't do that right now. The only thing we're looking for right now is if you have an extraordinary story. If you're gay and you're in a place where you are in danger, or you're a woman, you're a place and you're in danger, or if you're in a religious or cultural minority and you're in danger, or if you're in Gaza and Israel's trying to kill you. These are kind of the kind of situations that they're looking for right now. Okay? Those are the only kind of situations that they're looking for right now. You can email and ask for updates later. Just don't do that right now. Okay. Zoomer says, I'm Canadian, got TN visa in October. I traveled outside the U.S. a couple times, but no I-94 record shows online. I have approved I-140, not current. Okay. I appreciate the context, but I don't see the question. Yeah, I don't see a question with it. Okay. It's weird. I either get really good questions or I get really good context. I never get both. What about DV 2021? Francis? You didn't listen to me earlier. Stop asking about DV 2021 without the context of whether or not you are good luck, go, or Ray plaintiff. Okay? The journeys for the majority of DV 2021 selectees ended on October 1st, 2021. And what is happening with you now depends on more context than what you have offered. Just typing in DV 2021 and wanting me to explain the entire world according to DV is not going to happen anymore. You need to tell me if you're a good luck plaintiff, or if you're a Ray plaintiff, you're go plaintiff, or you're expecting to benefit from the Ray order. Okay, Zoomer, is that okay not to have I-94? Oh. I don't know the answer to that question. I don't handle TN visas, so it's beyond the scope of my expertise. Please seek legal counsel from an attorney who handles TN visas, because they will have that expertise, and you don't want to pay me thousands of dollars to do the research to find that answer. It's better to ask somebody that knows the answer. Fernando, you missed my question. Okay. Well, Fernando, I'm going to look for your question, and it'll be the last question. And we're going to wrap up because I need some water, and I didn't bring some in here. If a judge doesn't have a deadline, does that mean a mandamus lawsuit could get stuck without a decision for a long time? Yes, it means that. What are your statistics on that? I don't produce statistics on that. That's not what I do. Track Reports might have done some statistics on mandamus lawsuits, but I don't think they did mandamus lawsuits on how statistics on how those lawsuits are resolved. And here's the problem. You never really know. Let's say you look at a docket and you see a mandamus lawsuit was filed, and then 2 months later it was dismissed. You don't know if it was dismissed because they were issued visas, or if it was dismissed because the lawyer that filed the mandamus does not know how to oppose a motion to dismiss, or the clients chose not to oppose a motion to dismiss. So The purpose of a mandamus lawsuit is to accelerate the immigration benefit, the final adjudication of the immigration benefit. It's difficult to know if that happened if you're just looking at the docket from an outside perspective. The reason I say that, if I did internal statistics for my company on all of our clients, that wouldn't be representative of what's actually happening, because the mandamus lawsuits I do, I think, tend to be a little bit more aggressive and ambitious than the mandamus lawsuits that some of my colleagues do. Some of my colleagues will not do a mandamus lawsuit unless the delay has been 2 to 3 years, or unless the delay's been 9 months, or unless the delay's been a year. And I tend to be more ambitious and say, you know what, let's try it and see what can happen. I disclose the risk that it doesn't work. But what I'm saying is every individual mandamus attorney would have different statistics because their clients take different risks. So there's really no way to have the statistics that you're looking for that are reliable. How long does it take for a final decision? Sometimes, first of all, we're not looking for a final decision when we file a mandamus lawsuit. We're looking to accelerate the adjudication of the application. We don't know when the application would have when it would have been adjudicated organically, but without the lawsuit. So this is just really difficult to measure, right? I know that's frustrating, Fernando, and that's why some people choose not to do a mandamus lawsuit, and that's fine. A mandamus lawsuit is it's a little bit like getting on a boat to come to America. You don't know if the boat's going to end up in the U.S. or if it's going to float around and put you in Iceland or something, right? So it's not, there's some uncertainty with a mandamus lawsuit, and you have to be willing to take some risk and deal with that uncertainty. Sometimes they don't work. Luna says, yes, I mean, after Gomez filed motion and government answering the motion and the procedure all finished, I think the Court of Appeals should get decision. Okay, to be clear, Gomez is filing the motion with the Court of Appeals. They're not filing it with Judge Mehta. On behalf of Muhammad Thongjon and Kennedy plaintiffs, Raphael and I have already filed a motion with Judge Mehta, and that didn't get what we hoped. So Gomez is going to try a similar approach, except they're going to the Circuit Court of Appeals. Can you post Gomez cancel email? I've already done that. Maybe, I think I backtracked or something. And now I'm going to miss some questions. Oh, this is a good one to end on. Hello, best lawyer in the world. Thank you. Not true, but thank you. Any update for good luck? I've been talking about it for 40 minutes. No. What's faith for DV 2021? Good luck, class action. Good luck is not a class action. There was no class certified for DV 2021. I tell you that only to, let's get our language right. There is a class for DV 2020, the Gomez class. For DV 2021, no class. Although the situation for the Schengen area DVs is very similar to a class, right? Except with no class representative. The Ray order sort of gave a class remedy without a certified class, which was awesome, and one of the reasons that I love Judge Scheitken. Okay. But what's our faith? Continue to have hope. You do not have reason to give up hope right now. Zoomer says, I meant doing EB3D green card now, for which I got I-140 approved and waiting to be current, not having I-94. Okay. Great question, Zoomer, but I don't have expertise in that. Yeah, as someone that handles employment visas, I handle employment visas to the extent that we file mandamus lawsuits when the final adjudications have been unreasonably delayed, but I do not prepare employment-based immigration petitions or applications. It's not our space. Reach out to an attorney who handles that. Okay. Yusuf says, thank you. I just joined the live. Thank you a lot. It's okay. You can be late. I'm late to stuff sometimes. Okay. Everybody have a great week. I'll see you next Wednesday for episode 76 of Let's Talk Immigration. And yeah, have a great week.